UVCE Chronicles, sing it loud. Echoes of our past we're proud. From the heart of Bangalore to the world we soar.
Hello to all our viewers and listeners. Welcome to another exciting episode of UVC Chronicles. My name is Varsha Rao from 3rd year AIML. And on today's episode, we are joined by Mohammed Shoaib. Mohammed Shoaib, a first officer at Air India Express, is an electrical and electronics engineering graduate from the 2016 batch. Welcome to UVC Chronicles, sir. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Varsha. Thank you for the introduction. Lovely to be back and be speaking to some of my so-called juniors now. I think it's been a long year, long time since we spoke about UVC, at least for me. But yeah, it's great to be back and speaking to some of you.
So, at UVC Chronicles, we believe that nothing beats a first hand introduction. So, I would request you to please briefly introduce yourself.
Yes, hello to all my UVCians, fellow and those who've passed out, graduated with me. I think UVC has always been a major building block for us as individuals, growing into our different domains that we are currently at. But yeah, short introduction would be born and brought up in Bangalore, a Bangalore boy, completely someone who loves to interact with a lot of people, make good friends. I think UVC has been one of an integral part of my journey. Completed my electrical and electronics engineering. I know EEE, the most sought after branch. I mean to say in other ways. Yeah, so 4 years of Triple E. I graduated in 2016. More than engineering, there was everything else that I did. Was part of cultural team, part of the sports team. Together with my seniors, we even kick-started something called an Esport Evo. Don't even know if it still exists. It's a sports fest, which was started by us. Then yeah, part of Milagro coordinator, part of the fashion show team, and yeah, it was UVC was everything for us that time. And further after engineering, had a couple of offers, but chose to pursue my dream of becoming a pilot. Then yeah, became a commercial pilot. Got trained from United States of America. Then got my Indian commercial license, and yeah, after a couple of hardships for the industry, post COVID, started working with Air India Express as a first officer. Now currently I fly planes, and yeah, enjoy what I've always dreamt to be, doing on a daily basis. So yeah, that's about it. A little bit about me, and really glad to be speaking about UVCE as a part of my journey, which you guys will know in the coming questions.
That's a wonderful introduction, sir. So, you've had quite a journey from engineering at UVC to becoming a first officer at Air India Express. Can you walk us through the pivotal moments of your life and this journey specifically?
Varsha, to be very honest, this was something very planned. I mean, people will really be astonished if I say it's planned, because this is a dream of becoming a pilot was right when I was, the age of about 4, 5, when I used to start flying with my family. So that's when the fascination grew. And I always knew that I had to do physics and maths as a part of the development or growth towards becoming a pilot. So that was always a plan. However, after 12th, the industry was not in good shape. There was a lot of turbulence in terms of job opportunities, and the industry was not stable. So that's when I decided to do engineering, because science has always fascinated me. But then there came an option of engineering where I do not like coding. So I had to let go of so many branches. So that's where I landed up in electrical electronics. People would ask me why electrical electronics. Electrical electronics, because I like electricals and electronics, and I don't like any of the coding. So that's where I landed up, and I also somewhere felt that maybe that could help me in my growth and journey as a aviator, as a pilot. So that's how it all began. And yeah, so that's where I first joined. UVC has happened because in the first round of CET, I was in another college called SJBIT, somewhere on the outskirts of the city. I'm basically in a new city. So yeah, I was not doing too well there, but yeah, luckily UVC happened in my second round. Came to UVC as happy as I ever could. Having a college in the heart of the city, and being able to do what you like to do. And UVC has always been that integral part for me. No matter how people see it as, for me, I still am a proud engineer. But that has helped me grow as a person in my profession as well. 4 years have flown by, but the 4 years have made me humble, made me mature, made me stand by myself and grow into what is the best version of myself. So I'm very glad that UVC happened, because there was so much of there was no spoon feeding happening during our times. I'm sure even now also the teachers don't focus on that. There is more on the sites where you try to get into a zone where you have to study by yourself, do well in your internals and externals, and get where you are. And same way with the placements come, they don't guarantee you a job. So that way, I saw UVC take me on a very different tangent as a person, help me build my whole profile, personality. And from second year, my friends, they were all, my football teammates. So I like to play football. I'm a sports enthusiast. So first thing I came to UC was starting to look to see people playing football. I saw a couple of seniors and participated, became one of the couple of members who started a fest called Esportivo Sports Fest. So there was so much happening in UVC, like everything but engineering. Engineering was part of it, but your overall development as a human being was at UVC. Be it leadership qualities, be it moving in a direction where you have to put in your effort to be seen, right? So that was UVC for me. Completely a ball changing environment. For me, there was football, there was a fashion show, there was culturals, and I was leading a group of footballers. We were building a new fest, and then we were also, in the meanwhile, also studying, trying to make sure your marks are there so you get your offer letter. So that was my journey from there.
That's really a wonderful journey. It was great knowing about your journey so far. And I'm sure that each one of us will be agreeing whatever you said about UVC. So at UVC, you were very active, as you said, in football, fests, and even fashion shows. So how did your time here specifically influence your leadership style and adaptability in your professional career?
So, Varshal, I was a very, I wouldn't say I was an extrovert in my school and college. I was someone who was coming out of my shell. And when I came to UVC, I just felt that platform there, because there was so much to do by yourself, or you're not seen in the thing, right? You would have to be involved, get and do things, because it was not very proactive back then. We had to initiate things by ourselves, right? So with that being said, like, even for example, just going for a football tournament representing UVC would mean that we make our own jerseys, we make everything by ourselves, practice by ourselves. Only ground was available because we were practicing in Central College ground. The ground was available as per our college requirements, but everything else was us. We used to train together, as all seniors together, play tournaments, fest, involved in fest, be actively involved in fest. See, all these things are very important, for your development as an individual, right? See, my profession demands me. Obviously, there's a lot of leadership. There's a lot of responsibility that when I fly an aircraft with so many passengers behind me, there's immense responsibility. But how do you get that responsibility? Is over the period of time where the maturity has come in, where the responsibility of you in a particular environment. Just to give you an example, let's say my final year, if I kind of brief you, would be so surprised. Where did you get the time to study? So my final year, like all the years ended up, in the final year where I got big roles to lead, fests and things like that. So in the second year, we started our sports fest, and where we were part of the inaugural committee to bring a sports fest with football and cricket as the initial sports. Then we invited all colleges, to come and participate. It was a massive event, big scale sponsors, this, that. So now I think it's Fiesta and Milagro still doing well, I guess, as far as part of your fest. But back then, and the technical fests that are already there. But sports fest was something that we started. So when I came to fourth year, I was the senior. Obviously, I was a captain of the football team. I was heading the sports fest as the main coordinator. And back then, some of the things that we did was we managed to get about 25 top colleges across the state, right? We had NITK Suratkal who wanted to come and play for our tournament. So that's how big we had made the fest. And it was all, by the effort of all the individuals in the team involved. We had so many, volunteers who came and helped out, in the conduct of the event. Our principal, Dr. Ken Venu Gopal sir, he was really instrumental in supporting us, to take things as an initiative. And my fourth year was so packed. Like we started off, and then we had, and I was actively participating in the fashion shows from second, third, fourth year. So we used to go out also for shows. And in the same time, in the final year, I finished the sports fest. It was a super duper hit. We came to the finals, beat some of the top colleges, but lost in finals to But we made and finish that thing, and I seven semester exams. So I would get like a month's time to prepare, finish the exams, and then again I had it off, and then I came back, and then my classmates told me nothing doing is standing for Milagros as a coordinator, because that sports fest was a big hit, and that's where we changed. Even we participated even in Milagro. I had to be a part of the organizing committee. So as a leader, it's very important you imbibe the right qualities at the very initial days, and that's what I always tell. No matter how UVC has been or was, there was so much of dependency on nothing but you. As I said, Varsha, we had a lot of opportunities also, but that has to be taken by yourself. I mean, there was no spoon feeding, or let's say our physical education that are telling start a fest. It was all by ourselves because we want to do it, right? So it's very important, how you look at life and how you want to grow as a person. When I link that with my profession now, it's immense responsibility sitting in the cockpit. Whether you're a first officer or a captain, two people who literally are guiding an aircraft through different situations, and every day is a new day for us. Every day is a different day for us. And imagine 180 lives behind you. All have that hope that you are obviously well suited for the job. In the same way, right? To get to where I am now, I feel UVC has given me that maturity and that understanding and that balance of how I take life as and how important it is to build yourself in the early days of college. You want to be as humble, as matured, as passionate about what you do. That's very important, and that's what I think I got from UVC.
Those are some wonderful insights, sir. Thank you for that. So, aviation is often seen as high pressure and glamorous at the same time. So, what's one behind the scenes reality of being a commercial pilot that most people don't know?
You're right. I mean, see, everything. See, as far as what I personally see as an aviator, I'm a passionate aviator, right? I mean, everyone, what not? I mean, I wouldn't generalize it, but yeah, 98%, 99% of people are passionate about what they do. At least in our generation, let's talk about that way, right? We wouldn't want to do something which doesn't give us happiness, or vice versa. But yeah, some might beg to differ. But having said that, high stress, high environment, a lot of responsibility, glamorous. I mean, everything that looks glamorous, or rather, I would say, looks very fancy from the outside, isn't how it is always. There is going to be the pros and the cons. Like a pro would be like, imagine every day your work offices, looking at 36 from 30,000 feet, 40,000 feet down, having views and taking decisions in a fraction of a second. All these kind of things are fascinating, as well as we are very well trained for that as an aviator, right? The glamorous side of things is what people usually see in airports, a pilot walking by, or somebody making an announcement in the flight. Everything looks so glamorous, everything looks so I would say something that everybody want to do, right? But there are pros and there are cons. Like a con would be we're away from family sometimes, or most of the times. We're flying in connecting with the families on phone, missing out on important functions, events, life events, things like that. So those are not something that is always fruitful for a pilot. But I mean, we are doing a job that we like to do. So I mean, there will be a con. It's same thing. Even if you join a company, you will also have the good and the bad. That's how life is going to be. But yes, it's a good. It's an environment that demands a lot. It's an environment that does not allow you to step down on your proficiency even on a single day, right? So that's where our proficiency, our job requirements is immense. When we say stress levels, yes, because we have odd timing flights. Like for example, I did a late night yesterday. You know, trying to catch up on sleep, resting well so that the next flight goes on well. And it's not only about well; it has to be as safe as possible. For in aviation, it's about safety, 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 and there's nothing else that we speak about. So for that, you need to be a thorough professional, be it during your training, be it during your journey as a pilot. So for me, it's something I've dreamt. I've worked hard to get here, so it gives me happiness to do what I'm doing every day. So I have no complaints. That's me. And yeah, it's okay getting late in the night. And there are days, like I start at 8 a.m., get done by 10 a.m., and I'm done for the day. And I'm very glad to say that. While someone else would be like, "Are 9 to 5 hai, 1 to 10, all that." So I mean, on the other contrary, there is good and the bad. Some of the views from the cockpit are unimaginable to even explain to you, right? And on the other hand, you're landing an aircraft with about 70,000 kgs of weight, day in and day out, taking off, landing. That adrenaline. It's just something that I can't explain, and that's what I think I've been doing every day, living what I've worked for, and enjoying. For me, every flight is an enjoyment, and it's a learning. So for me, I love what I do, and I have always been proud of what I've done, and yeah, that's me enjoying my profession.
That's a really fresh perspective, even for me and definitely for our viewers and listeners. So, can you tell us more about SkyHeal?
SkyHeal, a very important part of my UVC journey. So this is, I mean, we are from Bangalore, right? Bangalore meaning startup meaning something new, something refreshing. So yeah, so this happened in my final year. So I'm telling a lot of things about my final year. I hope my teachers won't see me and wonder what was this guy up to in his final year. But yeah, I was doing everything and everything possible because that was the only year, third and fourth year, where I really pushed my limits, and I'm very proud of that, to be honest. So my uncle was in a very medical domain where he was looking after administrative work, or rather helping the employees and their families get the right medical treatment from a corporate standpoint. So that's when he spoke to me, and we decided, he was telling me that we should also help people from other countries who come down for medical treatment. So that's where I said, okay, why not? It's something good. It's something. I mean, I'm a person who likes to help and do things for people around, and why not be able to guide? So that's when I was in my third year, last I think in the fourth year. Yeah, around third year. That time is when I decided, I tag along with him, and we start a company called SkyHeal. So basically, it's a medical tourism company where we provide treatment to are people who travel from abroad and come here with the hope to be well at the earliest and get the right medical treatment. And India is known for the medical treatment that we have. So ideally, what we used to do is we tie up with massive, big chain hospitals, and we send in our clients send in the reports. We send in to the doctors of all the hospitals, get an understanding of what the treatment should be like, negotiate with the hospitals. This is where we did extra. I mean, there are a lot of medical tourism firms who give you a hospital, go do your treatment, but they don't really negotiate on the costing, because there are people who come from abroad who sell off their houses, rent out this, that, sell their jewelries and everything to just become better, or feel better. So for us it was important to also help the society, and so we used to negotiate with the hospitals, get the good deal, and then once that is done, send them the documents. They fly down to Bangalore. Then we take care from end to end. getting them welcomed, keeping them in a place which feels like home, making sure they get some good home food, and then making sure their treatment is done, and then they go back. So we were able to do that for so many patients in and across Southeast Asia. And the highlight was that all this was happening while I was studying, and I was doing my third year and fourth year. And my uncle used to call me. He was working full time, so he used to call me. He's like, Shoaib, you have to go here to this hospital, meet this director, present him, and finish the sign up. So I used to go after or between classes. That's what I would like to say, and go meet people like in Malya Hospital, Manipal Hospital. We had like massive chains, and I used to have meetings with them, with big directors, with big people, sign up, have agreements, sign contracts, and then start sending patients. All this was happening while I was studying, and I was super proud of what I did that time. I mean, only if I had more time to continue it. We were doing really well. So right from the SkyHeal logo branding was a former UVCN as well. He was my senior. He helped me with the designing of the logo, and his name is Rohit. He's also into full filmmaking now, and doing what he likes to do as well. So we had that done. Then it was going well till fourth year end, but then, as you know, I had to move to my profession, go for my flight training, so I could not give time to it. But that's a very integral part and something that I'm very proud of doing, because we help a lot of people become well again, get cured of their illnesses, be given the right medical treatment and environment to feel better.
It's does sound like a really great initiative and a really interesting domain to work in. So
Yeah.
can you tell us more about the Indian captains on YouTube?
Oh yes. I mean, that is another initiative that I started, having had a journey which is not an easy one. Becoming a pilot is not an easy thing. There are a lot of things involved which people are not aware of, which I was not aware of when I started. So I started my training immediately after finishing my engineering. So this is how dramatic it might sound. So in 2 years down, second year down, from my training, from engineering, I had this conversation with my parents and said that, what, the industry is doing better now. I think I need to go. And then they said, what, just 2 more years, just focus on getting a graduation. There's no point giving up now. And I also felt the same, so I enjoyed the next 2 years without any regrets. And so just before my final eighth sem exam, so in the seventh sem I got two offers already, just to keep my parents happy. There was someone who expected me to continue in engineering, but I knew what I was going to do. But to keep them happy, I somehow managed to get two offer letters, with great difficulty. I mean, to make sure my marks are above the 60 cutoff. I mean, back then we had 60% aggregate to be eligible to sit for placements. So got two offer letters. Was very happy because I know they'll be happy. But I know I'm not going to end up there doing coding or anything as such. And yeah, after that, I immediately went for my training after my exams. So this is when my exams were planned on May 2016, and in April I'm having this discussion with my parents that, what, I need to go for my flight training immediately after this, and they're like, no, you take the job. I'm like, no, I won't take the job. This is the turmoil while preparing for my eighth semester, right? And yeah, after my exams, they understood that this is what I've been asking for and wanting to do from a long time. So there was no looking back. So immediately after May exams, I flew out in September. So in about 3-4 months from then, and yeah, everything else is history. After that, went to United States, did my training, and grew over as a pilot. But when I came back to complete my Indian license, there was a lot of hurdles. A lot of hurdles. I finished my training in about 8 months. In 2017, I was a commercial pilot, but I had to get my Indian license to fly in India. And that was a challenge which I was not aware of before going. And lack of knowledge in the market, lack of people helping out budding pilots, aviators who want to become pilots. So it was very disheartening at the initial, but I, being a UVCN, I know that I need to keep pushing myself. I came back, finished a lot of formalities, and then I started teaching as an instructor, ground instructor, in an academy in Bangalore, near Kamanhalli. So I basically, from being a engineer, I became a pilot, and then I became an instructor to help budding pilots become commercial pilots, licensed pilots. So in their exams, I used to teach, impart knowledge from what I know, and I was growing as a human being back then. So that was something that kept me going till I get my license, because there was a lot of paperwork and a lot of things that needed to be done. So that took a lot of time, about 2 to 3 years, till I could get my Indian license, and I know that's a lot of time because I had finished my training. And then post that, COVID hit in, and that kind of stalled me for another 2 years. So while all this was happening, I was happily teaching pilots, guiding them where I messed it up. I made mistakes. I should have done it this way, that way. So that's always going to be there, but no regrets. So I told myself, you know what, people don't know about so many things. Why not, help them, reach where they need to reach? Because I am almost there. I'm like about 80% there, and then finally got my Indian license after 2 3 years. Then obviously COVID came in, so waited. And while this was happening, I'm a sports enthusiast. So my dad has a sports academy, a football club that I was happily managing as an operations head. We were at a point where we were recruiting, and I was working as a recruiter, recruiting people to work with me. Running operations, running social media, digital media, marketing, whatnot. I mean, I was in all domains, and my day was packed. And that's the time I used to remove a couple of hours to impart things that people don't know about a commercial pilot, becoming a commercial pilot. And that's how the YouTube channel started. I had another friend who was also a part of this, who I met in US, and we both started recording small videos, and doing basic editing. Made a small logo called the Indian Captains to help the Indians, students who want to become professional pilots, and those who want to pursue the career. So yeah, that's how Indian Captains began. That's only because I mean, a lot of my friends and my fellow batchmates in UVC pushed me, you talk, and you convince people to pursue something pretty well, and because you're passionate about it, you should help more people. And that was just something ringing in my head, and I was like, okay, let's start. And the easiest platform was YouTube to connect to people who you don't know. So yeah, that happened, and then we used to be active. But now I know we've been inactive for quite some time, but we've about 2,000, 3,000 subscribers who still connect with me on Instagram, messaging me saying, so how do we do this, how do we do that? And now when they send their pictures of becoming commercial pilots, it feels like I've done my bit, to give back something to the industry, which I love so much, and I'm still doing that. So it always gives me that happiness to push people reach where they need to be. And this is one just as initiative that I took it up.
That's wonderful. It's amazing to know that something that you had an experience of, you learned from it, and you're sharing and helping others out. That's really amazing.
Right.
So, sir, at UVC currently we have a lot of aviation and aircraft enthusiasts, and they'd love to know what your favorite aircraft is and why.
I'm a bit, and it's going to be a bit controversial. You might beg to differ, but then I've been a person who's been uh, yearning to fly a Boeing aircraft. Why a Boeing 737 was the initial fleet, or the model name that I was really inquisitive to fly. You might ask me why, history, and why this, why that, but you know what? I'm a pro Boeing guy, because with this little difference of in Airbus and Boeing that is there in the market. Airbus is more automated, whereas Boeing is more, there's more manual touch into it. So when you're actually flying, and you feel, in the initial days, it's always advisable. I mean, it's easier to move from a Boeing to Airbus than an Airbus to a Boeing aircraft. So, for those who don't know what it is, Airbus and Boeing are two big manufacturers, um, aircraft manufacturers in the world. Airbus is in Europe, and Boeing is in the United States of America. So, just personal preference, nothing very specific. But yeah, I always wanted to fly Boeing, and I'm flying that now with Air India Express. Flying some new fleets. I fly the 737-800 fleet and the Max fleet, which is the latest fleet. And yeah, hoping to maybe fly some wide body aircrafts like the 787s, your 777s, and maybe let's see if the journey takes me to Airbus, I'll go to Airbus. But at the end of the day, what I only feel is I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm flying aircrafts, with a weight of about 70,000 plus kilos, carrying fuel of about 20,000 kgs, burning fuel, going to different places in the world. And I'm glad to do that every day. Privileged to do that and humbled, I would say, to reach where I have reached, and to be enjoying every day like I like to do. So I'm happy with that.
That's amazing. So, for UVC students aspiring to unconventional or challenging careers, what's one piece of advice you wish someone had given you during your college days?
See, to be very honest, I was very. I know a lot of people might not be very driven or maybe focused on something that they want to do. I am still sure that most of you listening here today might still not know what you want to do or what you want to become. Right? It's completely fine. Right? I like if you see, I have so many facets in my career. You can see an instructor, then you can see an engineer, you can see starting a YouTube channel, or maybe running a medical tourism company. I even have something called as a Speak to MS. That's an initiative where I counsel people on life experiences and life problems. Mental health is something that I promote and I'm very vocal about. So this also again started in UVC because I used to speak to a lot of my friends and they used to call me MS. You really speak well. So that's where Speak to MS came up. It's an Instagram handle where I connect with new youth every month and anonymously. We used to converse and spend hours understanding and deciphering life and making life more easier. And so yeah, what I only feel is don't get cornered or don't get narrowed down with a profession, right? Yes, nowadays people have made this a joke that you have to first do engineering before doing anything. I beg to differ that because it depends upon situations and scenarios. Like now, if I look back, I'm not regretting joining a college for engineering. No, I don't regret joining UVC because I know what UVC gave me in that 4 years. I might have been 4 years behind of my schedule for my profession because you can join as an 18-year-old in the commercial pilot industry, but as a 22-year-old, when I came out and did my training, I was a more mature person than most of the other people who might have done it at 18. So there will be pros and there will be cons, but as an individual, you need to be very focused on what you want to do. Right? I know it might take. You might know it at your first year, you might know it after final year, or you might know it after getting your first job. That this is not where I want to be. Listen to yourself and do it because only then you're going to be productive. Right? There are two facets of life. One is where you're enjoying what you're doing, and also making a decent amount to fend your personal life requirements or have your good time, have your 3 meals or supporting your family. And on the other hand, you might be someone who really needs to support your family, and any job would actually do so. You have to be wise, and you have to accept what you have and do what you can. At the end of the day, it's not being that I know people might think that from an engineer going becoming a commercial pilot, where is that link? There is no link. But then I have done at least something that most of you all haven't, where you all have been not occupied with something over a couple of years, messing up your mental health. I was completely okay because I was fighting for my job, also enjoying my sports career where I'm handling a club and an academy, by also speaking, making videos. So my day is very packed. I would start as early as 6 a.m. Just to give you a brief, my day during the time when I was not working as anything, but I was a commercial pilot looking for opportunities, the day would start at 6 a.m. I would go to my academy, make sure the operations are going fine, and then come back. And then at 10 o'clock, start taking classes for budding pilots. 10 to 1 was my classes. And then again, I would take lunch. And then at 4, I would go again to my academy and see the evening operations. And while all this, squeeze in 1 or 2 hours, record videos for people who want to see. And in the meanwhile, also pack in 30, 40 minutes of counseling sessions for my fellow friends, or people who are anonymously who want to speak to me and improve their life or quality. I was just giving them a year to listen and to help them uh, become better people. So what I feel is in the inverted commas I'm stressing is that why conventional, why going out of the box? No, you have to focus and believe on what you need to do and what you can do. There will be 100 naysayers behind you, around you, saying that don't do this, don't do that. People told me not to become a pilot. Like, are you foolish? You have two offer letters. Why don't you just go and work? I said, I know what I'm doing. So it's important to have that belief as an individual. It's important to believe on your capabilities as an individual to reach where you want to reach, and you need to put all the effort to get there. Like for me, becoming a pilot happened in 7 months in US, but I didn't get a job, so that ended up nowhere. That it was a 5 year struggle, but I was focused because I know the end result. Now when I look back, I look back and smile at what happened, because that's what made me as a human being, right? And that is the whole thing. Even in UVC, why I keep talking that UVC was an important part is that there were times we were all by ourselves, from preparing new subjects to cracking them and making sure your percentage is there for being also able for job opportunities, because it's a lot of pressure. In the same time, you're enjoying life, plus this 4 years where you're basically shaping your career to go to where you want to go, right? Most of my batchmates didn't know I'm going to end up becoming a pilot, because I kept it to myself. Some knew it, and when they saw my end result, they're like, "Oh wow, you really did it." And those who know me from childhood friends, they're like, "Oh wow." And my grandmother, she keeps telling me, at the age of 4, you were always telling, and you did it, and you're one of those. So it's not about proving people wrong; it's about proving yourself right. Correct? It's about proving yourself that you are capable, and for that you need to fight. It's not that my profession gives me job on the first day one. There are people who have got, but there are people who haven't got. Like I waited for 5 years. There are some of my friends who waited for 9 years, 10 years to become a pilot, right? To get a job, I mean to say. So it's a very similar tangential topic when I can speak to about various different streams of people. Like you might be doing a CSE or an IS or EC or a triple E or a MEC, but you really need to focus on your capabilities, and this is the time for you to work on it. Like I was telling you about SkyHeal. What would it have taken me to not do that? And I would still be a normal person. Everything would be fine. But since I started something, and I put in my heart and soul and put my time, I really got something out of it. Maybe it's not running functional now, but that's been a part of my life. And I can proudly say I'm a co-founder of a SkyHeal company. And maybe in future, maybe if I have time, I might revive it, and still, have that ethics and that zeal to push through that. So that is where I come from. Be it sports, be it aviation, be it anything that keeps me going. I don't like to be an idle man, devil workshop. That is something that I really don't like to. I am so busy, so busy. In fact, I can share a quick thing about my interview in my airline. So I was just looking for one opportunity to crack it, and I was so confident that I will get it. And this is the only company who came in for an interview that time. There are other airlines as well. I don't want to take the names, but I was all in that zone that okay, one or the other thing will click, and this came in out of nowhere, and everything happened in a week. And in the interview, it was a very senior captain who was sitting with about over 25, 30,000 hours of experience. He looked at my CV and he said, "Okay, so you're an engineer, and after engineering, you went for flying. After flying, it's been 5 years now that you're sitting in front of us, but your CV has no gaps. How is this possible? Impossible. All our CVs that we're getting now are so much of gaps because of COVID. There was 2 years little hiatus for everybody. Everybody was just sitting at home, right? So what were you doing and how were you doing?" And then he asked me to explain my day. And when I told him the day that I just explained to you, they were like shocked. But I mean, since I was working, see, the mood or the motivation in this should be that you have to keep putting effort to be in the industry. It's very easy to be out of the industry. Very, very, very easy. You switch off and then you're gone. You're cut off from the industry. Like for me, I had to be in the aviation industry. It could have not taken much time for me to go look for a job with my engineering degree while I'm waiting for my thing. But I told myself, you know what, if I go to any other industry, I might not come back to aviation. And that's something that I will never want to do. So I was working, and I was working as an instructor, teaching while growing as an individual and making sure there are pilots coming out. So I can proudly tell I have about 5 to 7 students who have completed their commercial training, and few of them have also got jobs in airlines. And that makes me proud because I somewhere feel, I'm obviously a part of the industry, the journey. And these are things that you would want to do. and these are things that makes you proud. And that's when that day the captain told me, it's hats off for you, because you've maintained something which is very difficult to maintain. You've been teaching. So my interview was a cakewalk, because my technicals were there, because I knew that when the opportunity comes, I'm going to grab it, even if there are 1,000 people, right? So that day there were about 100 pilots, about that much, who were looking for the job, and I made sure I do well. And with the merit, they released 3 lists of people who were selected. I was in the first list, which also speaks that you have to do everything in your limit, and there should not be any complaints. I could have done little more. I might have gone there. These are all excuses, I would say. So as individuals, do what you can.
Thank you for the advice, sir. I feel very motivated now. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great conversing with you. I am really inspired, and I'm sure that all our viewers and listeners would be inspired too and would have learnt a lot. Thank you once again, sir, for joining us.
Thank you, Varsha. I know I've been talking a lot, but yeah, I love to do what I do, and speaking to some great people, and I hope you all do well in whatever you all are pursuing. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, it does not need to be aviation. You can always reach out to me. I'm someone who is reachable and across the platforms, but I just want you all to know that believe in yourself, guys. Be it how difficult it might look, okay? And trust me, your college days are the days that can shape you. So don't hesitate to take decisions that you might improve or become, or you might not, right? As I was telling you, so many of my friends have gone into professions that they always wanted to do, and they were all with me in UVCE, right? There is, like, my friend who designed my logo. He's now doing so well in production and filming, and I mean, that's where I think UVC is where you all might be, putting your thinking caps and getting into a direction. So use the time wisely, and please don't get demotivated. There are life hurdles that you might have a sine wave. If I'm not wrong, if I'm not missing my concepts right, you might have a sine wave, you might have all the different types of waves. But you have to pick yourself up, and sometimes you need to be motivated. So keep pushing, keep working hard, and always remember to enjoy what you're doing. Don't have regrets. Just do what you feel at that time. You're motivated to do it. And yeah, the your college life will not come again. How much ever I want to come back now and visit, is so much work and so much tough rosters for me to balance. Varsha itself knows how difficult it was to finish this conversation. But overall, it's glad to be a part of Chronicles, and I hope you all do well in your careers and stay motivated, keep smiling, and keep winning. Signing off. Bye bye.